Well, the recent tweet by the president-elect of the United States, Donald Trump, has shown us that the United States is in fact the same old United States that will not change in certain things regardless of from which party its leaders comes. Now, why do I say this? Recently, in his recent tweet, President-elect Donald Trump said this against the BRICS nations. So, reading it, the idea that the BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful US economy. They can go find another sucker. There is no chance that the BRICS will replace the US dollar in international trade, and any country that tries should wave goodbye to America. Now, this, of course, will shows that Donald Trump's ignorance, but I'll try to look at briefly that, first of all, is this a surprise? What the two sides of it? I mean, this message. What did the last BRICS summit that was held in Russia said actually with regards to financial restructuring? And then there is also a common misunderstanding that's just flying in the air, or perhaps a deliberate ignorance. And is a financial structure new at all for BRICS? Those are the things I would like to look at. So first of all, for more than a decade, ever since its inception from 2009, BRICS have been looking on financial restructuring, as the member countries are trying to bypass the US dollar because of its sanctions against these countries. So they look for an alternative. That is the thing. So it was rather a bypass. Now, the other thing is, first question I would like to ask is this a surprise? Does what Donald Trump said comes as a surprise? It's a yes and no. No, because it's, in a simplistic way, Trump being Trump and, just spitting out that his ignorance. But the second thing, to a little percent, that yes, it comes as a surprise because some of us maybe have expected that as he was advocating in his election campaign, US would rather be concerned in its local, national policy, not as opposed to foreign policy. Now, there are the second point I'd like to make is that there are two sides to what Donald Trump said. The first is, of course, you can see that this superiority by the West in general, but led by the United States, is a sickness that cannot get cured unless you immune yourself. These countries can immune unless they immune themselves. It's a sickness that will eat them away, and slowly that they will die. So they have to develop their own immunization, which is BRICS, and they have to restructure that financial structure, finding an alternative for US dollar. You can also say, the experts of the United States also should have seen, because this is really will be foolish just to maintain the status quo, the superiority of US dollar, because the global power has been shifting for the past 2 decades, minimum, to the global south. So it's not something that the United States will skip by maintaining that status quo when it comes to, the dominating with US dollar. So the other side of it is, of course, it's protectionism by the US dollar to its own currency, which any US president might uh, try to do this, but of course Donald Trump is arrogant. So now, the third point is that now, what did the last Brics summit said? President Vladimir Putin of Russia during the 16th Brics summit in end of October in Kazan in Russia, in which he hosted, he said that there is no currency at the table that is called Brics currency. So in all great fairness, what they are trying to do, the Brics nation, is that to use to it's in the Brics Bank is encouraging its members to continue to use their local currencies. What happens is, for example, okay, Ethiopia is a new member of Brics, and South Africa is a founder of Brics, and I'm just trying to give you two African countries. So, what in the international trade transaction, if Ethiopia and South Africa, have that international trade transaction, what usually happens is that they have to change first to the US dollar instead of being able to transact in their own currency. Now, Brics allows them to do this, to do it in their own currency, so that this will minimize that double-edged loss, first to buy it and then to reconvert it, in which the US dollar has been enjoying for years and years without being part of this trade. It just charge whenever that happens, because the countries have to every time buy and reconvert with its currency. So that's what the US is trying to protect. I mean, to maintain that. Now, the other thing that we would like to look at is that there is this common misunderstanding by the West, or the mainstream media. Perhaps it's purposely. What the Brics countries or Brics nation advocating is that it's Brics is, first of all, to use the Prime Minister Modi of India. What he said, Brics is not anti-West. It is, of course, a non-West bloc or group, you can call it, and it promotes multipolarism, which is the opposite of what the G7 or the Western countries are for, and they want to have that unipolarity. But multipolarity doesn't mean it excludes the United States or the West in general. No, I mean, geographically the West is there, and then there is no world where the West is not part of it. But these two groups, they don't have the same priorities. They don't have the same hierarchy. They don't have the same definition of universalism, because the West wants to maintain that hierarchy where they are on the top, dominating, only having, their own say, others without having their say. Now, if anything, what this tweet from Donald Trump tells us is that, it tells you what the United States is thinking in a very direct and undiplomatic, arrogant, whatever you want to call it. So the Brics nation has to take this in advantage and strategize, their move. Now, for the last question that I would like to add, to respond, is it new for Brics to talk about, or this changing currency or financial restructure in general. It's not new. Since 2009, this was the agenda. First of all, a multipolar world as opposed to West-led world. Secondly, it's a financial restructuring, or to create a financial system that is different from the prevailing one. So, but we cannot deny that this the new financial system for Brics has gained more push in the last few years, and particularly given that the sanction by the US has continued, not only by the US, but also the Western Europe has continued against the world countries. So Russia is one of it, since the US, the Ukraine-Russia war, and then there's China with trade, which is, they have imposed tariffs on different China's products, and other countries, whenever they kind of refuse to bow to the Western hierarchy or to the Western demand, they face sanctions. So they have to have that alternative. So this second objective of Brics, since its inception, has gained a momentum and has gained a big push. So the 5 countries, I mean, in a way that US has brought this on itself, because these countries, particularly the founders, China, India, Brazil, who am I missing? Brics, Brazil, who is R? Oh my God. Brazil, China, India, Russia, and South Africa. Okay, these countries have been asking, I mean, their trade transaction is a lot, and they have asked to the Bretton Woods system, namely the IMF, World Bank, and WTO, to have more voice, that it cannot continue only few countries or one country having a bigger say, as opposed to this, close to 200 countries in the world. And I mean, hello, Brics contributes more than, right now, with all its members and also associated members as of the last 16th summit since October, contribute more than 50% of the populations, the GDPs, the economy, the trade transaction, name it, whatever it is, more than 50% comes from this nation. So it's not something that you can avoid. So the global economic system, it's very different from the global economic system. And by the way, for the record, during Soviet Union, India and Russia were having a trade transaction with their own local currencies. And that kind of thrown out of the window when the Soviet Union were scattered and, become 15 pieces or whatever. So it's not something new. But now the US is realizing its failure more and more, that, of course, they have to at least brag. Another thing that you have to take into consideration is that Trump not only threatened Brics nation, but he also threatened Canada. So when he threatened Canada, what happened was that the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, flew to Florida and dined with Donald Trump and kind of eased the situation. Now, perhaps Donald Trump is expecting the same treatment or bowing from this Brics nation, but that's not happening. That's a wrong calculation, because these countries, they respond to threats differently. In fact, they retreat and strategize and comes more powerful. So the US has been doing this in the past few months against China's products, relocating its companies from China, imposing more than 100% tariff against Chinese electric vehicle cars, because the United States, the population were preferring to buy Chinese electric vehicle cars as opposed to Tesla and other American-made electric cars. So to protect that, they have to impose that tariff to protect their own market, and which is as opposed to their own liberal, or free market, whatever it is called, what they are preaching for. Okay, so also Europe has done it, imposed 45% against Chinese electric vehicle cars. So this is not new now, they're just coming all out. Hopefully the BRICS nation will strategize and come up with a plan. But another thing that what Donald Trump has forgotten is that, or perhaps just jumping it, is this has a double edge. As much as it will have an impact on BRICS nation, it will have an impact on the United States or Europe. Guess what? I will give you another example with the electric vehicle cars. Excuse me. What happened is that when Europe threatened 45% in its policy, European Union policy to apply it in all European EU members against Chinese EVs, then China said, okay, I will do the same as well. I'm going to close your companies here. And the German car companies, car makers like Mercedes and what is the other name? Volkswagen has come and told the European Union to reconsider, to revise its policy, because that will ultimately affect also the companies in European Union. I don't know how they think that. They think this will only action happens and there's no reaction. So these are the things I just wanted to bring to you with regards to Donald Trump's threat against the BRICS nation with 100% tariff. So that was it for now. Please, let us know in the comment section what do you think about this. So a quick shout out to Child of God, Goddess, Bena, Comp, Jay, Sasha, Davis, all of you, thank you for being here. I would like also to say in 1 hour and 15 minutes, from which is like 9 p.m. Central European Time or 8 p.m. GMT, we will have a very heated discussion on reparations. So we will have the Barbadian Ambassador David Commission, who is an ambassador of Barbados to CARICOM. He has been here at Connect Africa before, and Barbados is pushing for reparations. Now, this has made also the UK Conservative Party, which is advocating otherwise. So please tune in, and we would like to hear your views on that. But for now, let us know in the comment section what do you think of Donald Trump's threat. Thank you very much, and please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, give it a like, share the video with others, support us through our PayPal accounts in the description section. Ciao, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.